Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Okie Hippie Farm channel, where I've been working to construct an arch cabin. You'll recall from my previous videos that we completed the electrical and plumbing work as well as installation of the mini split systems. So with that all completed, it was now time to begin the interior installation as well as the furring strips. Let's slow things down a bit.
You got your magic marker? Well, that's real fine down here, yours.
I found that extra one yesterday. The one I lost was in my pocket. 170. Which way you want to go? Okay.
What I gotta do, Herb, is get up there with me.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Well, yeah. Probably need it.
Tom to line it up there.
Okay, so, what did you do with those? Goodness, how'd we do all this yesterday? Let me take some of this up there and then I'll come back down and grab that. Obviously, the first layer of insulation and furring strips are way easier than the rest. We found this out quickly.
Needs a line right here, right on top of that board.
And if you're wondering why I've got my socks pulled up over my pants, be sure to check out the previous electrical and plumbing video where I explain what caused my change of wardrobe.
Where's that lighter? You need to put it out in the wall a little bit at the bottom. That's too short. That thing can tip on you. Because you're only on one board on the side there. That's how much.
Similar to the floor joist way back earlier, I worked out a process where I would only put in 2 self-tapping screws on each furring strip while I had others helping me, and then later in the evening I would put the remaining screws in. This allowed me and my help to focus more on the tasks where I definitely needed assistance. To my surprise, probably the most difficult screws to get set correctly were those at the bottom layer of the loft. This was caused by the much more magnified curve of the cabin at this level. Guys, just a quick reminder to uncover your electrical outlets before you put the sheetrock up. and here's the finished product. Here are the screws we used. These are the self-tapping. They are number 12, 2 inches long. And then we used wood screws as well for the corners where there was not a steel rib to tie into. And we used number 12, 2 inches. If I could do it over again, I would actually get a smaller screw for the wood. I would probably get a number 10 because these were causing the furring strips to kind of split there on the ends when we were drilling them in. I'm up in the loft now, and the furring strips are actually 24 inches on center, and they start basically at the floor level, so at 0, and they come up 24 inches, and then you do 24 inches on center from there. We had some problems when we were in the loft, and I think it has to do with the arch being kind of more magnified up here. And it seemed like we got off from those measurements. And you can see here kind of at the 8-foot mark, we had to install a double row of furring strips, and that's because we had installed one row and then we went back and measured and realized that that we were off and we were not capturing that 8-foot mark. So the drywall will actually be installed vertical, so every 8 feet going up, you need to make sure that you have a furring strip so the ends can be secured. So that 8-foot mark is really pretty important. You know, the 2, 4, and 6, those aren't nearly as important as the 8-foot mark. So we went back and did a double row there. So just kind of be aware of that if you're installing an arch cabin, that you need to kind of double check, triple check those measurements, which we did as well, but it still seemed like we were getting off a little bit. One other thing I'd point out in regards to the furring strips is that since they are 24 inches, that's where they start, 24 inches from ground level, then you've got a lot of electrical that tends to run in that area. You can see here the normal wall outlets. The electricians seem to, or at least the electrician I use seemed that he wanted to kind of run that electrical wiring about that 2-foot mark, and I had multiple discussions with him about that, how I was going to have furring strips in that area. And since the furring strips are 1x4, you really need the area from 22 inches to 26 inches free, because your furring strip's going to take up that 4-inch space. And what I found was in multiple areas he had installed the electrical wiring around that 23 or 24-inch mark, and so I was having to go back and redo that essentially to lower it so that way I could install these furring strips. If you don't, what you have is you know, that wiring will push out your furring strips, and also the self-tapping screws will not go into the steel ribs and actually hold themselves. So be aware of that as well. All in all, it took about 110 1x4 by 8 feet long furring strips to get that all installed. And for 2 people, we were working about 6-hour days or so. It took us about 8 or 9 days to get the installation and the furring strips installed. So we're pretty pumped because now that we have all this done, the sheetrock is getting installed tomorrow, and that will be the next video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Until then, I'll see you next time.